Who's she?
Inspector Roy can tell you. Please come with me.
How you doing?
Mr. Murray, please.
Is there any news?
Nothing as yet. How are you coping?
I've known better days, you know?
Allow me to tell you where we are. The alert plan has been triggered since yesterday morning.
Good.
We continue to interview everybody who has come into contact with your son. Now, the supervising staff at the camp, they tell me that they would do regular checks of the tents and the pods to make sure that the children were asleep and all was well. The last check took place at 1 o'clock in the morning.
And he was in there?
He was in there. At that point, everything was fine.
When I looked at his cabin, I could see his clothes were still in there, his bag was still in there, his little snacks were still in there.
Now, Mr. Murray, I have to tell you that we are investigating every hypothesis, including kidnapping. Now, I'll need to ask you a number of questions. You may find some of these questions unsettling, intimate. May I?
No, don't worry. You can ask me whatever you want.
First of all, I understand that you've been traveling a great deal. You've been in Libya, Saudi Arabia, Iraq. Why is that?
My work's international. I've been working abroad for the last 10 years, give or take. Work in the oil fields, and I go wherever they send me.
Would you say your business, your work was dangerous?
The work in itself is not dangerous. You can sometimes be in places where you are in danger. And I am constantly aware when I'm in certain places that I need to watch my back.
Have any of these things affected you, Mr. Murray?
A subordinate of mine was taken hostage. We went through a whole fiasco trying to get him back. It was a fucking mess. And we ended up paying the hostage ransom.
I'd like to ask you for your mobile phone. We need it for the purposes of the investigation to retrieve the contacts. It's procedure.
I'm not supposed to give my phone out.
I'm sure you can appreciate the importance of this at this point in time.
I completely can't.
The nature of my work means there's sensitive material on here. You just need my contacts?
Yes. Thank you. It would be fair to say that most of the countries where you work would be unsuitable to take a child to, yes?
Most of them, yes. Hours that I work in the far-flung places that I end up in, even if they aren't insecure, aren't suitable for taking a child. I can't take him all over the world. He's got to be in school, he's got to have his friends, he's got to have some stability, he's got to have a house, he's got to have a family, and I can't offer him that.
When did you last see your son?
I saw him at Christmas time. I saw him on Skype at Christmas time. And he seemed fine.
Do you have a good relationship with your ex-wife?
It's not bad. It's not her fault that we split up.
Is there any antagonism?
From me, none.
Do you have any contact with her new partner?
I've seen him on Skype a few times. He seems fine. Have you security checked him? Because isn't it well known that 9 times out of 10 it's someone you know? Someone in your family?
This is the case, which is why it's part of our primary investigation. And you? Is there someone new in your life?
Yes. Yes, I have a partner. I've been seeing her for 5 years.
Two years ago, Your wife told you that your son was unwell.
Oh, I came back and we went away together for a month. We had a cracking time. We went all over North America. And then I went back to work. Do you have reason to believe that it's because of what I do that Ethan has been taken?
I have reason to believe that somebody made a decision to choose your son and not the other child. That's why I'm asking you these questions, Mr. Murray. Why Ethan? Why him? Why not the other boy? Unfortunately, all you can do at this point in time is wait. Wait for us to contact you.
Now, if you really wish to learn something, I would like to invite you to the rest of the part to understand the mechanism of this conversation. To communicate effectively, the speakers must know the context. That means the participants, setting, relationships among the participants, the topic and the function of the conversation. In this movie clip, Mr. Murray and Inspector Roy are the participants. The conversation is a part of the investigation about Mr. Murray's missing child, Ethan. They share information to find the child. It makes the tone of this conversation formal and respectful. English movies are the sources of native response. In this clip, nothing as yet is a better native-like response than "No, I don't have any news till now." So as "I have known better days," which pragmatically means I am not feeling well. Polite gesture and indirect expressions are effective tools to avoid rudeness in a face-to-face conversation. Allow me to tell, do you have reason to believe? And I have reason to believe are the expressions used by the speakers in this conversation to uphold their self-image. There are lots of questions asked by the actors in this conversation. Guess what? The number is 22. Interestingly, varieties of questions have been found which clearly shatters the monotony of this conversation. However, have any of these? Is there someone? Would you say are not only little questions with different patterns but also express politeness? And he was in there is just an affirmative form that turns into interrogative because of the use of stress and intonation. Mr. Moore's short response "good" is recognized as a discourse marker that holds the ideas together provided by Inspector Roy. The expression "first of all" from Inspector Roy hints Mr. Murray about the upcoming series of questions. Now listen to the shortest clip again.
My work's international. I've been working abroad for the last 10 years, give or take. Work in the oil fields, and I go wherever they send me.
Mr. Murray takes a long turn to structure a sequence in order to build a coherent mental representation for Inspector Roy. And interestingly, a bargain between Inspector Roy and Mr. Murray over depositing a mobile phone for investigation is a very familiar scene in a conversation. Their argument and the agreement to hand over the phone over a condition at the end help to develop the conversation. The inspector always addresses his interlocutor as Mr. Murray all through the clip, which is one of the etiquettes of formal conversation. Mr. Moore uses the discourse marker which is natural and is used to buy time to create a response. These types of hesitations are referred to as content-related hesitation, and they are accepted even in IELTS band score 9. There are many responses in this movie conversation which are incomplete, broken, half, and repeated. Like Mr. Moore says, I saw him at Christmas time. I saw him on Skype at Christmas time. And this only makes the conversation natural, and interestingly, it exists not only in English but also in all the languages existing in this world. Mr. Moore has used colloquial or conversational vocabulary like cracking in his speech. The use of such vocabulary enhances the quality of a conversation to the native level. It is possible that conversations might not end with the ending marker like goodbye or see you later. This conversation ends with the response of wait for us to contact you by Inspector Roy. Here, wait is the signal or clue that hints at the closing of this conversation. Here are some vocabularies used in this conversation that might be interesting for you. In the scene, coping refers to dealing to overcome a difficult situation. Here, in this part, cracking means excellent. And antagonism is a strong synonym for active opposition. That's all from here. Hope to see you in another movie. But don't forget to like, share and comment if you like it. And please hit the subscribe button for more videos and as a token of appreciation.